Ashley St. Clair tweets, I am in possession of legitimate major airline boarding passes for migrants that quite literally have the name printed as no name given. Incredibly difficult to post these without putting the insiders at risk working on it. This will continue to unfold over the coming weeks, but I confirm these are legitimate boarding passes. I am at a loss for words for what I am verifying. Thank you to everybody reaching out. Ashley St. Clair also tweets, receiving all of these tips, I was able to call many sources directly here on X. A pilot who wanted to remain anonymous was able to create a burner account, join our space, and use the built-in voice change feature to stay safe. She then celebrates X, the best platform so far. But the big news that we've been seeing over the past couple of days is record-breaking illegal immigration flowing into Eagle Pass. We're seeing now over 10,000 per day. They're estimating around 270 or so thousand individuals coming in just this month. And it's resulting in even Democrats in cities like Chicago, where we're getting a lot of anger. Let me see if I have this one. Not that one. Where's the story at? Do we have the... Well, we have this one from the Daily Mail. Furious Chicago resident rips into Mayor Brandon Johnson for throwing open the door to thousands of migrants and letting down black communities. I think this is obviously a major issue. And some of the latest polls on Donald Trump show that he is rising significantly, especially among young people. And it's because the economy and immigration are huge issues for people. But we can just kick off the conversation with you, Marianne. And I'm curious what your thoughts are on all of this.
I think that in this, as in so many areas, we have to treat root causes. We have to ask, why are people going through sometimes the most hideous journeys, like through the Darien Gap. The Darien Gap in Mexico is one of the most inhospitable areas in the world. So what would make someone walk across the Darien Gap with two small children? Well, obviously desperation. So what is the despair? There are two main categories. One has to do with economic destabilization in these countries, which has caused all this economic desperation. And the other is the horrible violence that is perpetrated by the drug cartels. Now, I think that we need to look in the mirror, because if we look at all of this economic despair, a lot of it was contributed to mightily by U.S. foreign policy over the last few decades. One of the things that we have to do, for instance, we need to end the sanctions on Cuba. We have to end the sanctions on Venezuela. I think a lot of people have no idea what violence this does to the lives of ordinary people. We say to ourselves, well, we're going to have a sanction on this country, and it's a sanction against the bad guys who are the leaders. And then the story went that the ordinary citizen in that country would realize that this is what was causing it, and they'd rise up against the leader. Well, it doesn't work that way. First of all, the leader has cryptocurrency. The leader has bank accounts in Switzerland. The leader has castles in Monte Carlo. We saw this with the sanctions on the Russian oligarchs at the beginning of the Ukraine war. They're like, whatever, right? So how ironic that in countries like Cuba and Venezuela, our sanctions are leading to a lot of the despair that is then making people come here. We give something like $200 million in general in humanitarian aid to Latin American countries. I think if we really look honestly at what we have done to many of these countries over the last few decades, we would see a lot more of a reason and a justification for us seeking to helping stabilize some of these economies. I also think that we should end America's war on drugs, because our war on drugs actually contributes, it helps the drug cartels because it creates all that black market. So yeah. I think that we can talk all day long. I was in Eagle Pass several weeks ago. I saw the concertina wire. I saw the buoys that a federal judge has now told Greg Abbott that he cannot use. I saw where 1,500 people drowned in the Rio Grande River. And I heard officials down in Eagle Pass say to me, we feel oppressed by the state government and we feel neglected by the federal government. Because those people who are down there know how to handle this. They know how to do the processing. They know what is needed, and they're not listened to.